If you're on TikTok, it's likely you've seen a video from Nara Smith. A 22-year-old stay-at-home mom and wife, Smith went viral for posting videos of herself cooking elaborate meals for her family entirely from scratch. In every video, she wears a full face of makeup and is dressed head to toe in designer clothing. Despite all the cooking, as well as her young children running around, her home is always spotless. To outsiders, her life looks perfect, and she's just one example of the traditional wife phenomenon, also known as a tradwife.
They are very dedicated to ideas of motherhood, of wifehood, of domestic bliss, and they believe that they and women more widely would be better off if they sort of return to traditional gender norms and focused on raising children, making their spouses happy, keeping a clean and lovely home. A lot of them have social media accounts where they have large followings, and it's, a propaganda creating way of being as well.
That's Sayward Darby, editor-in-chief of Atavist magazine and author of Sisters in Hate. She says she first noticed tradwife content on YouTube about 10 years back, but it only became popular fairly recently on TikTok. In just the last 2 years, influencers like Smith have gained millions of followers. But while these women appear perfectly content as wives and homemakers, we don't always know the full story.
They are selling this ideology in a way that they want to seem attractive. So they're not showing the work behind the scenes, the industry that it takes, the role assignment. There's no children misbehaving. There's no, I can't pay my bills. There's no power struggles. There's no reality check to show that this isn't as beautiful as a glossy image might portray.
That's Tia Levings, the author of A Well-Trained Wife. Levings is a former member of the fundamentalist Christian movement, Quiverful, and was once a tradwife herself. She was taught that being a good Christian meant submitting to your husband and not working outside the home. Though there were some aspects of the lifestyle she enjoyed, she couldn't help but feel like she was losing her freedom and voice.
There are some aspects of it that were beautiful and I enjoyed them. I enjoy being able to do things, solve problems, grow my own food, stay home with my children, learn how to make a budget stretch. Those were things that I really loved about it. But by and large, the power imbalance and the restriction on agency, autonomy, options, freedoms, nurtured abuse and neglect. This is movement-wide and system-wide, only they don't show you the results of this in families. So if you're trying to decide if you want to live this way, you pretty much only have the promise and the ideal in front of you.
Levings experienced domestic violence in her marriage. Fortunately, she and her children were able to escape, leaving Christian fundamentalism behind. While Levings has moved on and started over, the same can't be said for every tradwife. Some live this lifestyle purely by choice, uninfluenced by their husbands, religion, or politics. Yet Darby says it's important that tradwife influencers recognize the values they're promoting online, even if they're doing it unknowingly.
What was very dangerous and continues to be very dangerous about it is that it existed alongside women who were coming to it or coming at it from a much more conservative and sometimes more extreme standpoint. So, evangelical Christian women who, saw this as the only way that God intended women to be, white supremacists and white nationalists who believe that women embracing and inhabiting traditional gender roles is the only way for white people, the white race, to preserve itself in the future. And so all these people were swimming in the same waters, if you will, on social media. And so even people who may have gotten into baking pies for their YouTube followers or sharing, housekeeping tips or child raising tips, they were often being promoted alongside women for whom trad life represented something much, much darker.
But what about for the tradwife influencers who, like Smith, aren't white?
It's really, really important, even though, of course, there are tradwife influencers who are not white, that trad life as concept, as a phenomenon, is very much rooted in ideals of whiteness. It doesn't have to do with the color of your skin. It has to do with roles that white women have traditionally inhabited, have been celebrated for inhabiting. And for them, traditional gender norms are inextricable from the project of protecting the white race from the future, because a woman's political duty, quite frankly, is to be a wife and a mother, to keep a nice home, and to perpetuate that ideal for future generations.
If there's such a dark side to trad life, then why is it so popular on social media? For one, most trad wives aren't purposefully associating themselves with religious or political movements. And a lot of the content can actually be relaxing or interesting to watch. But on a deeper level, many women lean into this content because, compared to other celebrity or influencer content, this lifestyle seems more attainable for the average person.
Here you are watching someone on TikTok who maybe has millions of followers, who's making something from scratch or showing how to do something in the home, and people are celebrating it. They are consuming it. They are excited by it.
In addition to the attainability factor, Levings says trad life is viewed as a simple solution to life's problems. For many, it offers a promise of normalcy and stability that's hard to turn down.
The wider appeal is that it's a solution to the chaos. It seems like it is a warm and homey, cozy way to raise a family. It's a simpler economy because it simplifies and makes your life very frugal, which is attractive when finances are tight. Fundamentalism is always an answer to chaos. So if the environment is feeling chaotic or unstable, fundamentalism comes in and says, here's a really beautiful solution for your family. Here's a formula you can follow in order to achieve it. Just do what we say and you'll get this soothing response. And so if you look at Tradwife content online today, a lot of it is very focused on that soothing, comforting, warm maternal lifestyle, baked bread and pretty children and simple solutions.
That being said, being a stay-at-home wife and mother is not the same as being a trad wife. And not all trad wives subscribe to fundamentalist Christian beliefs or alt-right views. However, for women who seek to follow more traditional gender roles, Levings recommends asking yourself a few important questions.
I would be really reflective of why this is appealing to you, what you might be trading in exchange for it. How can you integrate some of these things that are attractive to you in a healthy way? Because there is a healthy way to do it. And I think that's just it. I think it's just awareness and understanding that when you choose something for yourself, there's a way to do it that protects the freedoms for everyone to choose the way they want to do it, and to consider the survivor stories and the scientific outcomes and the reports back of what it was like, the testimonies. Just make an informed choice for yourself, because once you're in it, you're really immersed in it. It's very hard to get back out.
To find out more about Sayward Darby, Tia Levings, and all our featured guests, visit viewpointsradio.org. You can find Darby's book, Sisters in Hate, and Levings' book, A Well-Trained Wife, on Amazon.com, or request copies to be stocked at your local bookstore. For more behind the scenes, follow Viewpoints Radio on X, Facebook, and Instagram. This segment was written and produced by Grace Galanti. Our executive producer is Amira Zaveri. Our studio manager is Jason Dickey. I'm Marty Peterson.